Take two. We want to measure the height of something we can't easily find the height of. Mountain, for instance. And we'd like to measure the height of the mountain. We'll call that h. And obviously the mountain is such that you can't just climb to the height of the mountain and drop a rope down to measure the height. We don't have an altimeter handy, so we're going to use some trigonometry to find the height of that mountain. This is more of an algebra problem than it is a trig problem. The trig for this problem is pretty simple. It's the algebra that's going to bog many of you down. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, let's suppose I back up from the mountain to some point on the road. We'll call it point A. And I measure the angle of elevation up to the top of the mountain. Okay, that angle there. That I can easily do. I mean, if I have something that measures an angle, I could use a protractor or whatever. And I measure that angle to be 32 degrees. And in fact, just to make things a little bit easier, let's get the mountain out of the way. We don't need any of this. We don't need this. We don't need this guy in here. Okay. Then what I can easily measure is I can back up a little bit. Whoops, I'm still erasing. I can back up a little bit to this other point B. And I know that I backed up 5 kilometers. Again, that's easy to measure. I get out of the car and I remeasure the angle of elevation to the top of the mountain. Will the angle at B be bigger or smaller than 32? Smaller. Okay, good. So we're all on the same page there, right? Yeah, you back up angle. Okay. And in fact, it is quite a bit smaller. It's 24 degrees. There's our setup. With those 3 chunks of information, we can find the height of the mountain. But it does require a little bit of work. How many triangles in that picture? 3? 1. 2. 4. 1. 7. -4. 1. 1. 4. 6. 12. How many triangles in that picture? Okay, well, the answer I was looking for is 3, but technically it's 4. Can anybody find the 4th triangle? Go.
Is it the, like, B, A, and then whatever the point is up on top?
That's one of them.
And then
The 3 triangles I was talking about originally would be this triangle here, the big triangle, and then that triangle there, but there is a 4th up there.
It's the one with like the angle of elevation and depression, like the triangle you have to draw.
No, I'm just being a jerk. There's a triangle right there from the capital A. Okay. We're going to deal with the 3 triangles. And in fact, we're going to deal with only 2 of the 3 triangles, because of the 3 triangles, only 2 of them are right triangles. And remember, trig does not apply to non-right triangles until 2nd semester, when I show you some other things to do. All right, so we're good with the setup. These 3 measurements that we took are fairly easy to measure. Okay, finding something that'll measure the angle of elevation is pretty easy, and your car has an odometer on it, so it can measure that. What's not easy is measuring this distance h. Okay, here we go. In order to do this, I'm going to need to talk about this distance, which we'll call, what letters don't get a lot of love?
Q. Z.
X? I'm sorry, what?
Z.
Q? Z? Z does all the time, X, Y, Z. I? Ooh, all right. Not to be confused with imaginary number I. Right. Okay, we'll use I. Given that setup, I should be able to write at least one equation, one trig equation. What would that trig equation be? Ethan, you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Tangent of 32 equals h over I.
tangent of 32 is equal to h over I. How do you do? I was expecting a little more rousing response. How did he do? Yeah, he's right. Okay, opposite over adjacent. Well done. Is that a solvable equation? No? Why not? Allie, why not? You're shaking your head.
Like
Two variables. And if we have two variables, how many equations do we need?
Two.
Two. So we need another one. You have another one?
Yeah.
Go.
The tangent of 24 equals, we didn't name that line yet, but the opposite of 24 over 5.
The opposite of 24, which is h. Are you talking about this one?
Yes.
Oh, no, we don't want to go anywhere near that guy.
And
No, no,
h.
yeah, h. Opposite would be h. Yeah, because this, remember,
Yeah.
this isn't a right triangle.
Right.
No, it's not.
Okay.
She didn't get that. She said right.
Oh, okay, alright.
Thank you. That's all. I just needed a smile, just to acknowledge that you heard what I said. H over
5i. No, not 5i. 5 plus I.
5 plus I. We're done with trig. Now the algebra starts. Woohoo! Here we go. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to ask for some help along the way. You will need your calculator, so you might as well bust those out before we get into the heat of battle. And if I lose anybody along the way, just holler and we'll back up and I'll explain the steps. Before we get started, simple question. What am I going to do first? Other than cry. Caroline, what do you got for me?
Did you multiply the tangent of 24 by 5? And then add a half?
Eventually, but not right away. Just to keep things above board, I'm going to put that in parentheses. Otherwise, we'll go down a dark path. Sure.
Multiply both sides by each, or 5 plus I.
Of this, we're working with this equation first?
Yeah.
Okay, multiply both sides by 5 plus I. That's not a bad start. Okay, good. What else? So now I have the right equation in terms of h. Go ahead.
Shouldn't you, for the one where it's tangent of 34 is equal to h over I, shouldn't you also do the same to get h by itself?
Which would give me what?
H equals I tangent of 32.
I like that. Notice I'm writing the variables on the left-hand side so they don't get mistaken as being the tangent of 32i or 32 plus I. That's a really good start. Now what? I heard somebody say it. Set them equal. They're both equal to h. Set them equal. I times the tangent of 32 is equal to 5 plus I times the tangent of 24. Okie doke. Things are going well so far. Notice I'm not plugging in the tangent of 32 nor the tangent of 24. I'm waiting to the end of the problem to get my answer as correct as possible. This is where I talk about when you take approximations and you keep doing calculations with approximations, it's going to cause problems. Distributive property. What am I solving for? I. So one of the basic ideas behind solving for a variable is move all the variables to one side, move everything else to the other side. Therefore, this puppy is coming over here and that guy stays there. I times the tangent of 32 minus I times tangent of 24 is equal to 5 times the tangent of 24. Okay, let's stop for a second, take a breather. Everybody with me? I lose anybody? Okay, almost done. Now what? How do we get I by itself? Not yet. We're gonna do that at the very end.
Factor.
Be more specific. You are correct.
I mean, you take I out.
Good. Factor out an I. Now I've got a product, and that product is I times that gunk in parentheses. How do I get I by itself? Divide by the gunk in parentheses. So I is equal to this. 5 times tangent 24 divided by tangent of 32 minus tangent 24. This is all a number. There's no variables left there, and we know exactly what I is. So at this point, you pick up your calculator and tell me approximately what I is. And we'll get some different answers because some of you will type it in incorrectly. Be careful with parentheses. We'll talk about parentheses after you take a shot at it and see what you get. And then we'll do consensus rules. Unless you all do it wrong, and then we'll. By the way, any ideas what I is going to be? Which one's bigger, by the way, H or I? I, okay. You got it?
3.1.
Okay, hold on, we'll wait for confirmation. Jake, answer?
I think I typed it in wrong.
What do you got?
Negative 1.6.
That would be bad,
Yeah.
right? Liam?
I got 3.6249.
Well, you got 3.12. 3.62?
Yeah.
Audrey?
I got 12.39.
Holy guacamole. 12? 12? Anna?
I think I did it wrong.
What did you get?
4.06.
All right, a new answer. Tina?
12.
12. Ethan?
12.
12. Katie?
4.06.
Same as, is that what you said? 4.06? Same. Kev?
12.
12. Honest. 12. That seems to be the consensus. All right, let's try it again. When you do this, you're going to put that one in. It's going to automatically put that one in. Put another one there and another one there. Put one here. It's going to put that one in, close that. It's going to put that one in, double close that, try it again. You're not even going to try it again, Audrey. You're just going to go with it, right? Feeling good about 12?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Nice. Oh, so you already got it. Oh, beautiful. That's probably the right answer. We'll see what happens.
You got 12.39.
Couple more confirmations from the haters. Yeah. 12.39? 12.39, Hannah?
I'm working on it.
All right, that's cool. We got time. Okay. So be careful. Now, not only do you need to be careful, well, you do need to be careful. Why? Because notice those other answers that we had are not absurd. Well, one of them was an absurd answer. Which answer was absurd? Jake was a little crazy there. Yeah, you're not going to have a negative distance. The mountain would be in the ground. It would be a hole, not a mountain. 12.39. Done? No? Why not? Say again? No.
You have to find the
Have to find the height. We solve for I, which is this weird distance from where you're standing at point A to the very bottom of this mountain buried under a bunch of earth. That we don't care about that. We need to find H. What's the easiest way to find H? Plug it back in where? Who's talking? Olivia.
Plug I back into the.
Where? I got a ton of places to plug it in. Where do you want to go?
Um,
1. I'll give you a couple options. 2, 3, or 4. 3? Any particular reason?
it's the
Easy is a relative term. How many would plug it into 3?
It's the simplest.
Simpler. I like that better. Yeah. Okay. Anybody do 1? 2? 4? Let's go with 3 then. This answer should be stored. Just set it over there. Thanks. This answer should be stored on your calculator now. Don't use 12.39. Use 12.39 blah 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 blah. That big scary number. Bring it over here and do 12.39 times the tangent of 32, and that'll equal h. So therefore, h is equal to Kev.
7.74.
We'll wait for a confirmation.
Yeah.
7.74 what, Kev?
350.
No. Units.
Kilometers.
Kilometers. Is that a reasonable answer? You have any idea how big a kilometer is?
1,000 meters.
Anybody else? Somewhat reasonable, I guess. I don't know how big a mountain is. Plus, we made these numbers up. And we dabbled in this already about what answers don't make sense. Does it verify what we already knew, that h would be smaller than I? Yeah, because I is 12.39. H is less than that. Yeah, so we're good. We talked already about like negative answers would be bad. 300 kilometers would be bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not real good about mountains, but 300 kilometers would be a little bit tall. So 7.74 is about. Well, let's see if I can do a proportion, can't I? Sorry, I'm just thinking for a second. So 3.1 kilometers. No, I'm wrong. 5 kilometers is 3.1 miles. And so if we have 7.74 kilometers, that's alpha miles. Can somebody calculate alpha for me there? Just want to know how many miles that is. Where are my runners in the group here? All right, 5K is at 3.1 miles, right?
Yeah.
So 4 point something or another? 4.8? All right, thank you. 4.8 miles, I don't know if that's reasonable or unreasonable, I have no idea. Okay. And again, because we made those numbers up. So again, at this point, that point upwards was all the trig. Everything else down below was algebra. Until we got to this last step here, where we threw a little bit more trig in there. Now, the weird thing about the homework, I will warn you, when you dive into day 7, the first problem says it's a mountain problem. It's not this kind of mountain problem. I don't like the way it's phrased. The mountain problem on homework problem number 1 is like the flagpole problem from day 6. Okay, you have a standard right triangle. You got to add or subtract some distances before you get started. Okay, questions? Can you do this again? Okay, well, you're going to have to. So I'd like you to spend the rest of the period doing a couple things. Find a small group, get together, start by taking a look at your data.